More than half of Canadians don't have a will, and the most common reasons why is because they think they are too young or they don't think they have enough assets to worry about it. Hi, I'm Jackie Yip, Certified Financial Planner at Ocean 6 Wealth Advisory. In today's video, we're going to debunk some of the most common myths about wills and estate and the actions you need to take right after watching this video. According to a report by Angus Reid Institute back in 2018, over 51% of Canadians don't have a will, and only 35% of Canadians have a will that is even up to date. This means that more than half of Canadians have no say in what happens to their assets when they pass away. As I mentioned earlier, most Canadians either think they are too young or they haven't built up enough assets yet. Another reason is that people don't like to think about death, which I completely understand. It is a morbid topic after all. However, just because you don't think about it doesn't mean it won't happen. So it's better to be prepared. As the old saying goes, people don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan. It is important to keep up to date with your financial planner. There may be key decisions you need to make right away to avoid unnecessary delays after death and worse, unnecessary taxes. So here are 3 common myths about wills and estate and why you need to start planning for it today. The first myth is that wills are expensive, and since you haven't built up assets yet, there's no need to spend that money. The truth is, most simple wills cost about $600 to $1,000 for a notary or a lawyer to draft one up. If you don't have a will, that's how your assets are divided up, and they will charge a probate fee that could be as much as 1.5% of your total assets. For example, if your net worth is around $50,000, then you could be paying over $600 in probate fees. If you think a will is expensive, wait until you find out what it costs you not to have one. The second myth about wills and estate is people think that they don't have enough assets to worry about it. If your net worth is over $50,000, then you need to start thinking about it immediately. As a rule of thumb, the purchase of your first home or when you get married is a good time to start. Dying without a will in Canada means that the government can dictate who gets your assets, and it could take upwards of 6 months for them to issue you the proper paperwork to even distribute or take over those assets. So as much as it is about saving probate fees, it is also to save you a ton of time and stress trying to deal with the courts. The last common myth I hear is that people just assume assets will go to their spouse or their parents. That is simply not true. Now, it doesn't mean that the government will just take your assets away, but rather you can't be sure it will go to the right people. Without a will, your assets will give you a favorable portion to your spouse, but then the rest of it will be split between anyone who is considered your dependents, including children and grandchildren. An example I give is that my wife will get the bigger share of my assets, but without a will, I could be splitting some of that to my kids instead of leaving it all to my wife to control. When you work with us to build your unique blueprint plan, we go over the importance of why you need a will. We also recommend innovative tax strategies to leave money to the people who matter most. For example, life insurance is a very efficient way to leave assets behind. It bypasses probate fees and expedites the time it takes to get the money in the hands of your family. As a business owner, we must consider how the business will be left behind as well. If the best person to take over the business isn't the surviving family member, there needs to be something in place to make sure the family will receive the income from the business, but still being run by the right people. If you delay your decision to write a will, it could undo everything you've worked hard to achieve. Without the proper planning, our assets could end up in the wrong places and cause additional heartache for our loved ones who are left to deal with this without us being there. If you're a business owner and you want to make the most of your corporation to make sure your wealth is secure and your loved ones are looked after, book a call. We'd love to help.